I found out the way you probably did. Saturday morning, phone face down on the nightstand, and I reached over and there it was. Sid Wilson, out of Slipknot, 28 years. And I want to be honest with you about what I did in the 60 seconds after that, because it's the only reason I'm making this video. I didn't look at who was reporting it. I didn't ask myself where it came from. I sat up in bed at 7 in the morning and I started building a theory about why. About a man I have never met. It took me about a minute to get there. 1 minute. I've been sitting with that all weekend. Let me tell you where I'm coming from so you know what you're listening to. I was 14 when I first heard the self-titled record. Burned CD, no case, handed to me by a friend's older brother who told me it would mess me up. He was right. I played it until the disc skipped. Plenty of records had screaming on them. What got me was the noise underneath it. This layer of static and scratch and broken machinery running under everything. Like something in the room with you was malfunctioning. That was Sid. Sidney George Wilson. Born in Des Moines, Iowa, January 20th, 1977. Both his parents are English. He came into the band in early 1998, just after they signed to Roadrunner, before the debut was finished. He was the 9th man through the door, and his arrival is what made Slipknot a 9-piece. Now, here's something I've watched go wrong about 40 times in the last 2 days. In articles by outlets that should know better. They keep saying his number is 9. Their logic being 9th member, number 9. His number is 0. It has always been 0. And he asked for it. When the band were handing numbers out, he specifically wanted 0 because he felt 0 epitomized filth. I love that. 28 years on, that one decision tells me more about who he is than anything a source close to the band has told anybody this weekend. He nearly killed himself doing this job, twice. 2008, he jumps about 10 feet off a stage on opening night of the Mayhem Festival tour and shatters both heels. 2024, there's an explosion at his farm in Iowa, and he ends up in hospital with burns across his face and his arms. He posted the pictures himself. Singed eyebrows, blister on his lip, telling everyone he was fine. He came back both times. Outside the band, he's DJ Starscream, named after the Transformer, because the man is a lifelong Transformers obsessive with the tattoos to prove it. He's got his own project, Sid. He started a rap label in 2025, Vomit Face Records. He's on every Slipknot album from the debut through the end, so far, and he's on Look Outside Your Window, that Lost record they finally let out this year. And I need to deal with something that's all over the replies right now, because it's being used to wave this whole thing away. He's just the DJ. Would anyone even notice? I've seen that maybe 200 times since Saturday. So let me put my cards down. Scratching, samples, keyboards, sound effects, and the horror movie texture running under the whole record. That's the job. Think about what 1999 actually sounded like. Every heavy band had guitars. Every heavy band had a drummer who could go fast. Almost nobody had that industrial rot underneath. The sense that the tape itself was sick. Take it out, and you've still got a very good record. You've also got a record I probably don't play 400 times in a bedroom in the year 2000. Could you argue he wasn't driving the songwriting? Sure, and you'd probably be right. Jim Root has been running that side of things for a long time, by the band's own account. I've just never thought a band's identity lived in its riffs. 28 years. And on Friday, according to a report, it ended in an afternoon. So I did what I should have done at 7 in the morning. And I went and looked at where this came from. Here's everything that exists. July 31st, 2026. TMZ publishes a story. A source close to the band with direct knowledge says Sid Wilson was told late Friday afternoon that he'd been permanently kicked out. That's it. That's the whole document. Everything you have read about this, everywhere on Earth, comes down that pipe. Look at what's actually in it. One source, anonymous. Close to the band with direct knowledge is a phrase that could cover 50 people and names none of them. And no reason. TMZ will print a reason when they've got one. They didn't have one. Then there's that word, permanently, which is a strange thing to specify and everybody noticed, and I think they were right to notice. You don't usually need to nail a door shut unless somebody might have tried the handle, or the source just said it that way, and it means nothing at all. That's the trouble with every single detail in this story. You can read all of them twice and get two different answers. Then watch what happened to it. Blabbermouth ran it. Louder ran it. Consequence ran it. Stereogum ran it. Loudwire ran it. Page 6 ran it. The Mirror ran it. Hello ran it. Ghost Cult ran it. Sites I've never heard of in my life ran it. Inside half a day, this was global. Now go and read them. Genuinely, go and read them. Every one of them points back at TMZ. According to a report, TMZ reported, reportedly, 20,000 words got written on Saturday, and none of them contained one new fact.
And I want to be fair here, because the people writing those pieces flagged their sourcing properly. They did their job. Aggregation is how the business works now. The trouble is what it does to the rest of us. 20 headlines feel like 20 people who know something. It's one person echoed. Which brings me to a question I think a lot of channels are ducking, so I'll take it head on. Is TMZ reliable? Honestly, on this specific kind of story, yeah, largely. They've got a long record of being first and being correct on who's in and who's out. Sneering at them because they started out chasing people through airports is just snobbery. And I've watched plenty of people in these comments trust TMZ absolutely the last time they broke something those people wanted to hear. So I'm not here to tell you the report's wrong. I have no idea whether it's wrong. What I keep coming back to is that probably true and confirmed are two different things to know, and the whole internet spent Saturday treating them as one thing. And here's the bit that actually matters. TMZ reported that a man was told he's out. They reported nothing about why. So give them every ounce of credit you've got. Assume every word is accurate, and you still walk away knowing nothing whatsoever about the reason. The thing all of us want was never in the story to start with. And if you want to know how carefully this got handled on the way down the pipe, remember the number. His number is 0. It's on the records. It's in the liner notes. It's been 0 since 1998, and you can check it in about 9 seconds. Several very large outlets told you it was 9. Meanwhile, 2 days in, Slipknot's channels have said nothing. The website still lists no change, no replacement announced. Sid hasn't spoken. Reps for both haven't come back to anyone. Then Jim Root posted, early hours of Saturday, Instagram stories. Guitarist, in the band since 1999, one of 4 men left from that debut. And he wrote, I'm quoting only the line that matters. Don't believe everything you read. Then he told people to stop, to think, to take a breath, to sit with it a while, and maybe wait until there was more information. He put it over Slipknot's own song, Till We Die. He didn't name Sid, didn't name the report, didn't deny anything specific. So what is that? I've read it about 30 times, and I can get 3 different things out of it. Could be he's saying it never happened, and the tabloid blew it. Could be he's saying something did happen, and permanently kicked out is the wrong shape for it, messier than that, or more mutual, or less final. Or he isn't talking about the report at all. He's talking about us, the comment sections, the theories that were fully formed inside of 5 minutes, reading the news as true and the explanations as garbage. And I can help you a bit here, because there's a precedent, and I don't think many people have gone back and checked it. March 2019, Chris Fehn, percussionist, in the band since 1998, files a lawsuit against Corey Taylor, Sean Crahan, and the band's business manager. His claim was that they'd set up Slipknot-related companies he knew nothing about and were enriching themselves outside an equal split he thought existed. Corey Taylor went on Twitter, heads up, I'm quoting him, and he swears. He wrote, "You're gonna read a lot of bullshit today," said that was all he'd say, told fans to wait until the truth came out. Ring any bells? Days later, Slipknot fired Chris Fehn. The lawsuit was voluntarily discontinued in October 2020, with prejudice, meaning he could never bring it again. Whatever was agreed, if anything was agreed, nobody's ever seen it. So I'd be careful with don't believe everything you read. I've watched a lot of people this weekend hear that sentence as a denial. It has never once meant that. It's somebody asking for patience, and we keep translating it into the answer we were hoping for. But there is something genuinely strange going on here, and it's the opposite of what everyone's shouting about. This band always makes a statement, every single time. Chris Fehn, March 18th, 2019, official statement, and it opened by saying Chris knows why he is no longer a part of Slipknot. Craig Jones, June 2023, after 27 years in the band, official statement, 2 sentences, cold, no explanation, wishing him all the best for the future. They were on stage with an unnamed replacement almost straight away. Jay Weinberg, November 5th, 2023, after 10 years. Official statement, thanking him, invoking Joey Jordison, calling it a creative decision. 3 exits, 3 statements. Same day or close to it. And then they pulled the Weinberg post off social media within hours, while leaving it up on their own website, which tells me they're watching how these things land in real time, and they don't always like what they see. So 2 days of total silence from a band with a reflex for talking is genuinely unusual. I noticed it, you probably noticed it. I just can't tell you what it means, and I'd be lying to you if I pretended otherwise. Which brings me back to 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, and me sat up in bed, building a theory. I want to walk you through the timeline I had in my head, because every piece of it is true and on the record, and I think that's what makes it dangerous. Sid and Kelly Osbourne first met at Ozfest in 1999 when Slipknot played it. Friends for decades after, together from 2022. Their son Sydney, born that November, July 5th, 2025, Birmingham. Back to the beginning. Black Sabbath's farewell show, Ozzy's last ever performance. Backstage, Sid gets down and proposes. Sharon and Ozzy are both stood there watching it happen. 17 days later, Ozzy Osbourne is dead. March 2026. Reported that the engagement is off. The reporting at the time tied it to how brutal the grieving had been. July 31st, he's out of the band. 4 months. Engaged, then unemployed. And I looked at that on Saturday morning, and my brain did what brains do. It drew a line between 2 dots and handed me a story, and the story felt like knowledge. All I'd actually done was notice that 2 things happened near each other. Every outlet covering the firing mentioned the split, by the way. All of them. Not one of them reported a connection, because nobody has reported a connection. It just sits next to the thing, so it goes in. And inside, about 5 minutes on Saturday, the internet had reasons. Confident ones. Specific ones. Reasons about relapse. Reasons about the Osbourne family pulling strings. Reasons involving accusations of things that no person, anywhere, on any record, has ever accused this man of. I'm not going to repeat those on this channel, and I want to tell you exactly why. If I say them out loud in a 20-minute video with a professional voice and some slow piano under it, they stop being a stranger's guess in a thread. They become a thing people have heard. They attach to his name. And in about 4 years, his son is going to be old enough to type that name into a search bar. Nobody in that thread has to live with that. I would. A rumor repeated confidently enough starts to feel like a source. It never becomes one. It just gets louder. And the thing that unsettles me most is how the reasons sort themselves by grudge. People who already couldn't stand Corey and Clown came out with a story where Corey and Clown axed another original. People who'd gone off Sid came out with a story about a man falling apart. Same evidence for both camps, which is to say none, and everybody's sure. I include myself in that. My theory on Saturday morning said more about me than it did about him. We've got a documented case of a bloke losing a job he'd had for 28 years. I think that's sad enough on its own. I don't think it needs a villain attached
to be worth caring about. So let me ask something I can actually answer. If this report is right, what's left? Do the maths on the 9 men who made that 1999 record. Paul Gray, bass, died in 2010. Joey Jordison, drums, gone late 2013. He cited personal reasons at the time and later disclosed a serious neurological illness. He died in his sleep in 2021, 46 years old. Chris Fehn, percussion, fired 2019, days after he sued. Craig Jones, samples and keyboards, 27 years in that band, gone June 2023. No reason given then, no reason given since. Sid Wilson, turntables, reportedly as of Friday. 4 men left. Corey Taylor, Sean Crahan, Mick Thompson, Jim Root. And out of the people who started this thing in January 1995, 1 clown, who, by the way, told everyone this past May that he'd needed heart surgery after their last tour. Around them now, you've got Eloy Casagrande on drums since 2024, after the band called parting with Jay Weinberg a creative decision. Michael Pfaff on percussion, Alessandro Venturella on bass, and since 2023, a sampler whose name they've still never told anybody. Then, November 2025, Slipknot sell a majority stake in their catalog to Harborview Equity Partners, publishing and recorded royalties, reportedly somewhere around $120 million, covering everything from the debut forward, but not future releases. Neither side would say the exact percentage or the price. Clown's statement about it ended with, "Get ready, hail the knot." I'll be straight with you. That one stung a bit. I know it's a business. I know they're all in their 50s now with mortgages and kids, and one of them's had heart surgery. I know the anti-corporate stuff was a thing 1990s bands said. It still stung. So what happens now? Because there's a boring answer that explains the silence better than any conspiracy I've read. They're not touring. No live commitments. Their last show was Incarceration in July 2025, over a year ago. There's no promoter with a date in 3 weeks demanding to know who's standing at stage left. What they have got is a record on the way. Jim Root confirmed 6 completed arrangements. Eloy Casagrande said last autumn they had a pile of material and were putting it together. Put those 2 things side by side. No touring pressure, no deadline, and an unreleased album they'd quite like to control the conversation around. That's a band with every commercial reason on earth to keep its mouth shut for as long as it can. And they already learned once, in public, in November 2023, what happens when they post something and have to delete it. The silence might just be a diary. So people keep asking whether it's still Slipknot. 4 of 9, 1 founder, most of the catalog sold. Ship of Theseus. Swap the planks one at a time, and at what point is it a different ship? I've stopped finding that question interesting, and I'll tell you why. In Flames replaced every founding member, and they're still In Flames. Napalm Death haven't had an original member in decades, and they've been going 40 years. A band is a sound and an idea, and I've seen both of those survive a total change of personnel, and I've seen both of them die, with 2 founders still stood there. What I actually want to know is whether the thing that's left still wants to be what it was. 9 blokes in masks from Iowa, going on about brotherhood and hating the industry. You can lose 5 of them, sell the catalog to an equity firm, fire a founding-era member on a Friday afternoon, and still be Slipknot in every legal and commercial sense. I'm allowed to find that sad. It doesn't require me to accuse anyone of anything. Here's what I worked out this weekend. Sat there with my phone. I wanted the reasons so badly because I wanted to be told how to feel. If he relapsed, it's tragic and I'm sad for him. If they pushed him out, it's cruel and I'm angry at them. If it's money, it's cynical and I'm finished with them. I wanted a permission slip, something official that told me whether I'm still allowed to love this band. And I might never get one. Craig Jones gave them 27 years, and the public reason is still nothing 3 years on, and I suspect it always will be. So I'm going to have to work out how I feel about Slipknot without it, which is probably how I should have been doing it the whole time. And out of everybody who's said something about this, every outlet, every channel, every one of us with a theory at 7 in the morning. The only man actually inside that band who opened his mouth told us to wait. I keep thinking about that. 28 years ended in an afternoon, and the loudest thing in the room is a guess. Mine included. So do me a favor in the comments. Not your theory. I've read your theory. I had it myself on Saturday. Tell me the moment Sid Wilson made you love this band. The rig climb, the scratch you can hear in your sleep, the night he shouldn't have been able to walk and did it anyway. 28 years of receipts. Let's put a few down. And if the band say something, I'll cover it here. What they said, not what we've been guessing.